All right, y'all, we're taking a look at this boudoir photography business. Gonna see if it has BSS with its main Google search. So we're back here in the GBC universe where we take declining boudoir photographers to the number one boudoir photographer in their city. Our North Star, as always, is FSIC, which means full spectrum intent capture. More on that, pinned video, home video, whatever, main video, wherever you're at. And that's because FSIC explains why all boudoir photographers either rise or fall. We got our full intent spectrum here. High intent peeps over on the left, lowest intent peeps over on the right. For boudoir photography business is rising, most likely we're pulling in people from the entire intent spectrum. And if our boudoir photography business is falling, we're missing chunks of people across somewhere on the intent spectrum. So here we're talking about BSS, the highest intent peeps. These people search for boudoir photo shoots right now on all the different four big social media sites. So social search and Google search. And over way on the right, that is our other brand, Boudoir FB Ad Doctor. We talk about BLCS. We currently only work with the boudoir photographers running more than 10 grand per month in boudoir Facebook ads. And so Facebook ads has the lowest intent peeps, interruption ads, Facebook, Instagram, which is going to be actually the largest volume of people that exist in a city. All right, so BSS, boudoir search sameness. So when a boudoir photographer, say there's 0 or 1 slots on page 1 on Google. So 0 slots on page 1 on Google, so we're on page 2 or deeper, effectively invisible, because we know that approximately 80% of Google searches never even hit page 2. So approximately 80% of the market, so the bulk of the market ain't never going to see if we're on page 2 or deeper. And we actually want to, even if we got 1 slot, it's still not good enough. That's still boudoir search sameness because we look the same as everyone else. Everyone else can have 1 slot as well. So what's a buyer going to do? They're just going to, right click, open everyone's website, open a new tab, everyone down page 1. Probably won't even go to page 2, which is approximately 80% of searchers never do. So we're going to assume that they don't even go to page 2. They're just going to contact every boudoir photographer on page 1 near them and get price quotes and call it a day, and then kind of pick the best out of all those. So as a result, boudoir search sameness, no bueno. And 0 or 1 slots on page 1 on Google is actually not normal. That's extremely common. It's not normal to have that few number of slots page 1 on Google. It's actually a symptom of 2 deeper root causes. First one everyone knows about, nearly everyone knows about, market saturation. Second one, nearly nobody knows about, which is the false belief of page 1 equality. So market saturation, that's someone gets a new iPhone and they throw up their Google My Business profile and their website saying they're now for boudoir, or they're now a boudoir photographer. And get new gear like a camera, then they're posting the mom Facebook groups saying they're now for boudoir photo shoots. So market saturation, more boudoir photographers for the same number of buyers, increases in the supply side, makes it harder for each seller to, make a sale. Now, the false belief of page 1 equality. Okay, this is, from what I've seen, is the number 1 killer boudoir photography businesses, where originally people accepted page 1 equality as normal. Like, it's normal for every boudoir photographer to have either 0 or 1 slots on page 1. And yeah, I was ranked, my website was ranked on page 1, but, someone else came in, their website got ranked above mine. I got pushed off to page 2, but, that's simply how it is. I simply got to accept it. There's nothing I can do. It's just part of the game. When actually this is 100% false. This is a 100% false belief, because what I have learned is Google will actually give as many slots on page 1 to those who want to put in the effort to acquire those slots. And I know that because I went from 0 out of 10 slots on page 1 Google search to 9 out of 10 slots on page 1 Google search in only 10 days. So I know this is true. I've done it. And so this false belief of page 1 equality, it's like a mental cage. People don't even look for a solution. They don't even try to figure something out because they don't even know it's possible. But in 2 pictures here, we'll see that it actually is possible, or 4 or 5 pictures here. We also know that boudoir photographer with BSS, boudoir search sameness is a disappearing boudoir photographer, DBP. And that's because, if we got 0 slots on page 1, we're on page 2. approximately 80% of searches never even going to find us. So yes, we're disappearing. Even if we got one slot on page one, not good enough. We look the same as everyone else. Going to be price shop compared to everyone else. And a buyer's just going to click and open everyone's website on page one and price shop everyone. So we got to get more slots on page one to kick out. And also, so we got more slots on page one. We're also kicking out our competitors. So actually, we get price shopped against fewer peeps. And disappearing boudoir photographer, it's like the canary in a coal mine. If we got BSS or disappearing boudoir photographer, we are, pretty. That means the business is on the path to disappearing as well. So luckily, we now have a solution. BSS is treated with social search saturation, our SQt methodology, and it works exactly like it says. We saturate social search with the highest intent keywords, kind of like, the small rivers flowing down the backside of the Andes Mountains. And once we do that, saturate, that flows into the Amazon River, which is Google page one search. That's the end result of doing SQt methodology correctly. And again, yes, I have done this for myself. Now, the magical thing about SQt methodology is it's the only thing I've seen for boudoir photographers that is able to successfully get rid of, fight against and actually overcome market saturation. So why is that? Let's say we're in DMV area, DC, Maryland, Virginia. Or let's say we're in DC. And there's 1 million boudoir photographers in DC. They all got a website saying they do boudoir photography. Same as us, we're one of them. Everyone's fighting to be ranked page one on Google. But let's say we crank up SQt methodology to the max. So we crank up SQt methodology to the max, and we take the first 300 slots across all, on social search. It's all us. And as a result, or the first 300 searches on Google for also the highest intent buyer keywords, those who want boudoir photo shoot in their city. And as a result, literally the first 30 pages, organic search results on Google, is us. It's, it's 10, it's literally 10 organic slots per page. So we take the first 30 pages up with our 300 slots that we've captured. And our competitors, nobody can find them on organic results until the organic search results till page 31. So when buyers search anywhere, social or Google, we're basically the only one that they find. I mean, they probably ain't going to page 31 on Google. So as a result, whose business is growing? Ours. Even though there's 999,999 other boudoir photographers in our city. And why is that? Because buyers can't, it's hard for them to even find anyone else because we saturated search everywhere so strongly across social and Google. So again, this is the only solution I've seen that allows boudoir photographers to successfully outcompete market saturation. Something that has momentum. Sure, ads, they give me one more slot on Google for PPC, but their momentum goes down to zero once you stop spending for them. SQt methodology, it maintains momentum. It has momentum, not infinite momentum, but it has way more momentum than an ad that instantly drops to zero momentum once you stop spending for it. Now, once treated with SQt methodology, we have page one visibility. A bonus side effect of this is for every new slot we occupy on page one, we're actually kicking a competing boudoir photographer off page one, effectively making them invisible. Remember, approximately 80% of Google searches never go to page two. They're page one only searches. Yeah, we're making them invisible to approximately 4/5 of the marketplace. And obviously, that means we're going to be price shopped against fewer boudoir photographers. Now, page one visibility activates boudoir search visibility for us. We have the GBC recommended minimum. We want to hit 3 out of 10 slots on page one. I feel like that's kind of the first maximum point that we reach, where if every other boudoir photographer has 1 and we got 3, and subconsciously buyers going to be thinking, man, why is Google pushing this person 3 times? Everyone else only 1. I'm going to, I'll click all 3 on this one person. And in the very rare chance someone else has 2, well, we'll be, outcompeting them as well because we got 3. And a boudoir photographer with boudoir search visibility is a visible boudoir photographer. So this is our micro universe here. A disappearing boudoir photographer with boudoir search sameness is caused by the dual horns of market saturation and the false belief of page 1 equality, which everyone used to accept as normal, but more and more people are not accepting as normal anymore. We now have the solution, luckily, finally, S-cubed methodology. We achieve page 1 visibility. We become a visible boudoir photographer with boudoir search visibility. All right, next up, my results using S-cubed methodology for myself. So I wanted to rank for the keyword BLCS boudoir. I want to dominate page 1 on Google. So let's go down to the organic slots. So organic slot page 1, or organic slot 1, IG, me. Slot 2, me. Slot 3, me. Slot 4, me. Slot 5, me. Slot 6, me. Slot 7, me. Slot 8, me. Slot 10, me. So I did this in 10 days. I went from 0 out of 10 slots on page 1 on Google to 9 out of 10 slots on page 1 on Google. And I exclusively used S-cubed methodology to achieve this. So these are the results I've gotten. Now we're going to check out, we're going to see if this boudoir photography business has BSS, kind of the basis for all this stuff. So let's see. So we're going to do a search boudoir photography Las Vegas. All right. All right, so we got boudoir photographer Las Vegas, Nevada. So let's see. Nope, 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 nope. Oh, there we go. All right, we got 1. 1 out of 10. Nice. All right. We got 1 out of 10, so we do have BSS, boudoir search sameness, because we got 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google search for high intent keywords here. And ideally, we would want to get to our GBC minimum of 3 out of 10, because then we can basically guarantee we're not a bit disappearing boudoir photographer. At minimum, we're treading water, or we could actually be growing. So we do want to get to 3 out of 10. So if you're a disappearing boudoir photographer, you've done your local search, you've done your city search, either have BSS for one of those, or you're not meeting the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 for one of those. And you realize this means you're starting to disappear. A disappearing boudoir photographer, this is the first kind of flag, the first kind of warning light. If we start becoming disappearing here, eventually the business becomes disappearing as well. And you're seeing S-cubed methodology like, yes, this is exactly what I need. This is what you've been wanting to use or wanting to have as a solution for a while. And you've already broken out the false belief of page 1 equality. And you understand market saturation. Yeah, people get new gear, okay. And you're loving the initial awesome benefits, S-cubed methodology, more links page 1 on Google, kicking more competitors off page 1 on Google, kind of making them become disappearing boudoir photographers. And you're looking ahead and you're seeing, since you understand market saturation, you're actually seeing that AI is going to be taking a ton of people's jobs more and more over time. So it's literally going to be kind of bringing in a larger and larger amount of boudoir photographers over time. So you're realizing you got to fortify your position on page 1 on Google, not just get it right now, but actually kind of build up even excess links in the back end in reserve. That so many links out there that actually prevents any future competing boudoir photographers from getting on page 1 either. And you're saying, okay, S-cubed methodology is also the only thing you see that can accomplish that. So it's kind of a near-term extra benefit. And you want to achieve boudoir search page 1 visibility, so that you become a visible boudoir photographer with boudoir search visibility, because you know you need those things in order to become the #1 boudoir photographer in your city. And you also understand the future back-end benefits of becoming the #1, or of utilizing S-cubed methodology. Is basically the first one is you're building up these invisible thematic keyword columns, kind of like plugged into your brand, plugged into your business name, your website, your social media handles, or kind of like spokes, hub and spoke, plugging these different spoke columns into your brand that actually bring, that actually eat up mind share in the back end Google AI kind of like mind brain. And so, that every day we successfully execute SQ methodology, higher chance you'll be getting recommended here AI overview, because you're basically bundling up kind of these building up repetition, authority, relevance, frequency, age of these invisible thematic keyword columns that takes up AI mindshare, which also increases the probability of recommended AI search. ChatGPT growing AI search growing every single day. ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Microsoft Copilot, Google Gemini. Google search is still, approximately 90% of global search, but AI search is literally growing every day. It's what I use most frequently. It's basically just give me the summary. I don't want to click through it after reading and figure these things out myself. And I know last time I did search for boudoir photographers in a city that I got 3, and then I went searching myself on Google, and there's like approximately 60 in that city. So I'm like, okay, we definitely got to be building momentum here, increase the probability recommended in these 3 slots. And you're seeing, okay, SQ methodology is the only thing that will build these invisible thematic keyword columns for you to achieve this increase in probability of AI search being recommended for AI search. And you're also understanding that, my current plan is to only work with 1 boudoir photographer per city. So you decide, hey, you're going to jump on this first, get all these initial benefits, box out your competitors so they can't use me, build up this kind of invisible momentum gap with your competitors to where, we can get it to where essentially they can never, ever catch up to us. And, the converse, if your competitor were to work with me first, that you'd actually have to go rederive or derive SQ methodology for yourself. And then you'd have to go execute it. But you would never be 100% confident putting in the time to execute it because you would not know if you've even derived it correctly in the first place. And, when you'd have to equal our execution every day with me and your competitor, and that's simply to maintain the gap. To actually make up progress, you'd have to double or triple our output every single day using the system I invented, and to close that gap, be able to basically pull that AI mindshare back from me and your competitor, kind of those invisible thematic keyword columns. And who's got 80 hours in a day to do that? So you're like, screw that. You've decided you're going to be first mover of your city to actually get all this stuff done. And so if that's you, shoot me a DM. My DMs are currently closed. The hospital is currently closed, not taking any new patients. But when my DMs do open, shoot me a DM and we'll see if you qualify for utilizing our S cubed methodology.